Hello everyone, this is Lori from Grammy's Keepsakes, and I'm coming to you today with a tutorial that was requested by Kathy Lewis. Thank you for your comments in our giveaway that we had to celebrate over 1,200 subscribers. And I wanted to show you how I made my little Traveler's Notebook trifold journal that I made with inspiration from Gayle Agostinelli, and then I just tweaked her design a little bit to make it my own. And this boho pink is currently in my Etsy shop, but I'm going to show you how to make it today. I use hanging file folders. This is the legal size. You can use regular standard also, but with the legal size, then I get 2 out of here, so I like using that. The first thing I'm going to do is cut off the metal hanger. Cut it as close to the metal as you can. And I'm using my heavy-duty Tim Holtz scissors. And we do not need this part, so we can go ahead and discard it. And then on this side, remove this paper. Just go ahead and tear that off. And then go ahead and put your file folder into your paper trimmer and trim it off at 8 7/8. And then I'm going to cut it in half, which will be 7 3/8. And I've already done that. So now we're going to do some scoring. And these are my measurements. 7 3/8 inches tall, and it's 8 7/8 inches wide. And now we're going to score. Put it in your scoreboard up in that corner with the long side against the top. Score at 4 1/4. Score again at 4 5/8, which is 1 tick mark past the 1/2 inch. Then we're going to score at 8 7/8, which is the natural fold of the file folder. And then at 9 1/4. And this one I like to score it twice or 3 times so that it's not competing with the naturally scored lines that come pre-made in your file folder. Now I'm going to fold it on my score marks. Grab my bone folder to burnish it. And here's the natural one. And then the one that I made in between all those other little marks. Make sure it's lined up so that it's straight, because you're competing with all those other score marks. And burnish it down. Now we're going to have the basic shape of our journal. Goes in a box. Now what I'm going to do is flip it over. This is the side with no score marks. And I'm folding it. See how it has that bend there? I want this score mark this one in the corner of my scoreboard. So I'm going to fold it like that, put it in at the top, hold it tight, flip that over, and then I can hold the bottom and get my hand in there. Now I'm going to score at 4 inches and at 8 inches. And the 8-inch one, we're going to go ahead and trim that off. And you can use scissors or your paper trimmer. And I'm going to go ahead and use my paper trimmer. And I have it off to the side because it's a great big huge professional cutter. And so to keep it out of the way, and this is what we have. And then we're going to fold this also and burnish it. Now we do not need the scoreboard anymore. We're done with that. Go ahead and remove it along with that bone folder. And now we're going to decorate. And this is 7 3/8 inches tall, and I have some pieces of cardstock that I'm going to use, and this is from a Recollections Let's Get Lost paper pad. And what I want to do first is line up my pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that at 7 3/8. I'm trying to decide how I want my patterns to go. That looks like a train or subway station type thing, doesn't it? With all the different routes in the map. And all the little arrows about where you can be and where to go. So 7 3/8. Put my offcuts to the side because we can use those also. Deciding what I want for my cover, not that one. Let's go ahead and use this one. So we're measure my page. It's 4 1/4. So I want to cut this just shy of 4 1/4 because I do not want it to be over the score marks. And if you want to, you can go ahead and ink the edges to give it a look, or you can wait till you're done, or totally skip this step. Personal preference. And then I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac glue. And I'm not going all the way to the edge because it will seep out. Lining up my edges. You have a little bit of wiggle room with Fabri-Tac. That's why I love it. And I have a little bit over the edge, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. And then we're going to decide what we want for other pages. And I would like this one on this inside. And it's going to be 4 1/8 plus a 1/16 of an inch. My fancy math, right? Okay, yep, before 4 1/4. You can use a tick mark with your pencil and mark it that way also. And then I want to make sure that paper is not going to be in the valley. Go ahead and use the Fabri-Tac glue. Get that lined up and press down. Yes, that'll work nice. Okay, for this piece right here, this one or this one? I'm tending to go with this one. Okay, so here I want to make sure that I get my spines cut. Try to move the scissors out of the way. My spines are 3/8 of an inch, but they need to be shorter because they have to nest between the little valleys of the scoring. So they're going to be just maybe a 1/16 of an inch less than 3/8. And then this piece is going to be double checking. Yeah, it's this one. It's 4 1/4, so I need it to be a 1/16 shy of that too, so that I don't get it on this fold. So I am going to go for, cut my first piece at just over 4 1/2. And so this is for the whole piece. And now what I'm going to do is turn it this way and cut off just a little bit here to put in this spine. And then it's going to fit in just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do a real quick ink. My glue is coming close to the bottom. And I'm centering it right between the score marks. And then I want to do a quick ink of this side. And I always like to do a dry fit to make sure I'm going to be okay. And let's open it back up to make sure that I'm missing my fold. Yes, because we don't want it to bind. So I can go ahead and ink that. Otherwise, shave a hair off if it was too wide. It's much easier to do it before you have the glue on. And lining it up with the bottom and the sides, centering it between my score marks, like the little valleys. Okay. And now I need this little spine also. This is the second spine, so it's going to be a 1/16 less than 3/8 of an inch. Yep. Always want to double check. And right now I'm just inking the long sides of it just enough to knock that white edge of the core of the paper. After it's completed, we can go through and do some more inking. But right now I'm just knocking down the white. See how it's coming together? And there's room for the folds. Okay. See, with my scrap, I always want to make sure why I do that dry fit so that, see, it doesn't go that way. It's too short. It's going to go this way. So what I want to do now is I'm not going to cut this one. I'm going to cut this one. So I want it to be on this side of the paper, and I need it to be just shy of 4 inches. And go ahead and glue that down. Lining up the edges and the sides. Make sure it's not in that fold. And it's a little bit long, so I can go ahead and trim that off with my scissors. Now with this piece, this side here is going to have that little pocket here, and this side, this piece is not wide enough, but that's okay because we're going to have a side pocket here, and that's going to cover it up. So we're going to use this piece for that. So I'm going to go ahead and ink 3 sides and put some glue on. And then glue it down with the top and bottom and this side hinge. So this is the part that's bare. So what we're going to do is, see that pocket, we'll hide that. So I'm going to go ahead, and I like to have a 2-inch wide side pocket. So I'm going to cut that off of this piece here. Or, wait, maybe? No, I don't like that. Let's do this one. I'm going to cut 2 inches. And I chose this side over this side because it's busier. So it's going to look like that. So now I need a little bit more ink because this side I have to get inked well enough to be done because I can't get in there after construction on this one. Because if we tried, see, then I would get this side all dirtied up. Now I'm going to use my art glitter glue and glue on the narrow, one long side, and the other narrow. The pin back in the glue. And line up my top and bottom, and next to my hinge where it's going to fold. Looks like I wasn't very accurate right there. Have to see if I can get, yeah, and that's where it folds. So the pocket's going to be okay. We'll bring it over just a tad. There we go. Burnish it down. And I'll see if I can fix that. And then we're going to have a pocket here. So right now we can move to this side. And this is 4 inches, so I'm going to cut it just short of 4, but not much. Like maybe a hair. Oh, crazy with the glue. Get my baby wipe. Get that wiped up right away. Okay, we need this side. So I need another little spine here, so that's going to be just less than 3/8. And so I'm going to put this in that little spine so it has that blue line. So that's going to be just shy. And I'm getting that right between the mountains there. And gets nice and centered. Burnish it down. And now I need this side. And this side is 4, so I want it just shy of that because I don't want it to go on the fold lines. And go ahead and glue this down. I'm going to open it up, make it a little easier to see the mountains. Lining up the top and bottom. Making sure we're good. Now we've got one more side and a spine left. It's looking good so far. I don't like that. It looks nice with this one, but it doesn't look nice with that. So I'm going to put that piece aside and let's go ahead and use this. And I think I would like my spine to have my little arrows centered in there. If they'll be almost the right width. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that little tiny bit off there so that I can trim off my arrow column. A little bit more. Oh, to shake the camera. There, that'll be nice. Can go ahead and ink that and glue it down before I lose it. This is my 4th attempt at making this video. I have had one technical issue after another. I got a brand new camera, a camcorder, and I was trying to use that. Well, apparently it has a different lever for the sound. And so, great video, can't hear a thing. It's all quiet, and you couldn't hear my measurements or how I do it or anything, and so it's like, oh, that's not going to work. So then I tried it again, and I don't know what I messed up that next time, and I gave up. And then I tried it with my phone, and I didn't have enough storage. So that was enough of that. So now I'm back to using the iPad to try to get this out to you so that it's relatively timely. And so, yeah, I'm going to have to get my son-in-law over to help me out with this technology. He's a whiz at it, and I so am not. But here our measurement is 4 1/4, but I need it to be just shy, like about almost a 1/16 of an inch, so that we don't go over that fold. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that. But yeah, me and technology, it's always been a struggle, but life goes on, right?